Before we go to the next scam, I think, we'll place the facts very correctly on this one so that the BJP representatives gets the perfect picture. Now, it is a well-known fact that in order to save face, Hardeep Puri, in order to save face, some current members of the Navy top brass have bowed to Defence Ministry pressure and declared after some kind of a botched up internal inquiry that there was nothing wrong with the battery. Now, I'll tell you why this is completely incorrect. It is because we have papers here, Western Naval Command papers, which perhaps you have not looked at, accessed by Times Now, which make it absolutely clear that INS Sindhuratna was running on aging batteries. And the last line of this should suffice to explain to you. It says that the contract was finally concluded MS Exide on December 3rd, 2013. However, the new battery set post-commissioning is likely to be available for installation on board Sindhuratna only by early July 2014. Early July 2014. And in the interim, battery set X Sindhu Keshri, which had completed 103 cycles and was set to expire by April 1st, 2014, was reappropriated on board Sindhuratna. Okay, so these are the facts. There was a procurement process. The procurement process was not completed. It is in this period that the accident happened. I'm not scoring points here. All I'm saying this to you that these are Western Naval Command documents. You can have an internal report and say that the aging batteries were working fine. No, you can say the aging batteries were working fine, but
I'm agreeing with you.
Yes.
Arnab, please, I'm agreeing with you. 113 cycles, 200 cycles is the life of a battery. I agree with you. I am against the Congress policies, I'm against the corruption, I'm against the mismanagement, I'm against the lack of decision making. I'm on your side. All I am saying is, please, in this discussion, there is another dimension. Let us not undermine the preparedness of our defense forces.
The preparedness which has been thoroughly compromised by this government.
Let's get to the bottom of the corruption.
The preparedness has been thoroughly compromised by the government. I'll get Mahroof in on this part one. 1 second. Mahroof,
I agree with
Mahroof,
you.
Your view. Mahroof, your view.
I agree with
Mahroof,
you.
purely on the issue of kickback, purely on the issue of commissions. I know commissions cannot be allowed. That's dealing the part of whether Rolls-Royce is bad. Who says Rolls-Royce is bad? Rolls-Royce is great. Bofors is great as a gun. But that's not the issue here. We have more details emerging on this Singapore link. Mahroof, can it be wished aside?
Arnab, there are 3 or 4 points other than what the speakers have made, and especially Mr. Dasgupta very comprehensively summed up a whole lot of issues. Let me tell you, somebody is paying the commission, but who's receiving it? Now, we may say that Mr. Anthony is clean, but there is a chain up the whole chain where there are windows available, where envelopes can be passed. We are not addressing it. By saying a CBI inquiry will take place is a euphemism or an alibi to delay things. Tell me which CBI inquiry on defense-related issues has given us results. No single CBI inquiry worth the name has pinpointed the blame on anybody. So Mr. Anthony is trying to play Mr. Clean by passing the buck to the CBI. If CBI can do everything, then what is he doing as defense minister? Can't he sort out the defense ministry? Can't he take people to task in the various other departments? That is my concern as a citizen. The other point which I'm really concerned about is this, that every time something happens, you blacklist a whole list of companies.
That's right.
That are affiliate of a large group. That means the Indian
absolutely
Air Force
correct.
is going
Absolutely
to ask
correct.
its going to ask its pilots to train on gliders tomorrow, because the Hawks cannot be made available, the Embraer jet cannot be made available, the Jaguar engine cannot be made available. They are all from Rolls-Royce. So therefore, our pilots are going to go to war on gliders. That is the state of play that we are reaching with either this government or the other. For heaven's sake,
that's why I'm saying tonight.
Who has received the money?
And that's why I'm saying
absolutely right.
And that's why I'm saying tonight. That's why I'm saying tonight. That is why I'm saying tonight. I'm saying tonight. I am not saying Rolls-Royce is not a bad company. Bofors was not a bad company. But what is the cost of doing business in India? Why do you have to transact in paying commission? Who wants the commission?
It is a political mismanagement.
And I'm only questioning the sincerity.
Corruption needs to be attacked.
I'm questioning the sincerity of the investigation on the other side. Ladies and gentlemen, with your permission, I'm going to story number 2. And Casey, I'm coming to you, Captain Gopinath and Jitendra Bhargava on the other side, because your expertise is wanted. Now, this is our second news report. This is a deal that has been cheered by some and questioned by many back home. Some regulators have questioned the nature of the agreement in the mega civil aviation deal signed recently. But while these questions are being asked, it's an unprecedented, shocking intervention by a diplomat stationed in the UAE in the Jet Etihad deal, which is raising some very serious questions tonight. I'm coming back on the debate.
A deal which has seen turbulent times ever since the two airlines were in talks. And with the show cause notice issued by SEBI to Etihad over its deal with Jet Airways, it only appears to have once again flown into rough weather. But while the controversy surrounding the deal has come under scrutiny by watchdog Competition Commission of India, a letter with Times Now, written just a week after the show cause notice, raises fresh questions.
In what can be termed as quite unprecedented, the Indian ambassador not only shoots up this email to the Department of Economic Affairs, but he goes that extra mile and drafts a letter on behalf of FIPB. The contents of the letter are aimed at ensuring a quick clearance for a private deal between Jet and Etihad.
The stakes are high for Etihad, which will have to make an open offer to buy the entire 25% public holding in Jet if it fails to respond to the notice. The notice by SEBI after concerns were raised by the Competition Commission of India over who actually controlled Jet Airways. The man whose letter has triggered a controversy, Indian envoy to the UAE, while speaking to Times Now, confirmed drafting the note to the Finance Ministry.
This is an important matter that affects India's bilateral relationship with UAE. Any relationship has to be furthered by, having agreements.
But when Times Now confronted the UPA minister, he justified the ambassador's controversial note, insisting it is very much a part of the envoy's duty.
An ambassador on the ground has some information. He must share that information. Who will he share that information with? He must have sent a copy to the ministry.
It is now part of the responsibility of every Indian diplomat to promote the trade interests and commercial interests of India. And that will include sometimes helping Indian companies, and it certainly will include promoting investment in India.
Following the revelation of the diplomat's controversial letter, the opposition is once again training its guns at the centre.
This government's every decision will lead to a lot of questions.
Government should take a decision keeping in view the interest of Air India without being pressurized.
It was the first deal after India allowed FDI in the aviation sector in 2012. But this letter has raised some serious questions. By drafting a Finance Ministry note, was the envoy building a case to protect the Jet Etihad deal from scrutiny? And how can a diplomat advise the Finance Ministry on a controversial deal? Bureau Report, Times Now.
Okay, C Singh, let me start with you. Why would the Indian ambassador, can you argue saying I'm actually protecting national interest here? Because you are actually drafting a note. It's not promoting national, you're drafting a note. You are advising the Foreign Investment Promotion Board or how to draft its reply on the clarification sought by SEBI. That's the Finance Ministry's job, C Singh. Should the ambassador be doing it?
Firstly, Arnab, when you're dealing with the Abu Dhabi ruling family, you must understand that the family owns everything, from oil to gas to the airline to running the ministries to doing everything. There is no difference between the government and the businesses they do. They are all owned by the ruling family. Mm-hmm. That said, the ambassador has to have a degree of judgment in knowing where your own interests lie and the interests of a private company which goes to, say, Etihad, then uses Etihad and the Abu Dhabi ruling family for you to become their advocate. I think that's where ambassador has probably crossed over. He should not have sent this, and it looks to me he has not drafted that letter. I think that is a letter given by a Jet to Etihad.
Isn't that even more shocking? No, isn't that even more shocking? No. Isn't that even more shocking, Casey?
So is Jet using Etihad? They've been using them for the last many months. They've been using them For the ruling family of Abu Dhabi, they've done various things.
Good.
They
So
wanted, they wanted Etisalat. Just a minute. They wanted the 2G Etisalat investment to be taken care of. Then they've been saying, we will do this. If you do this for us, we will bring investment to India. So they've been linking different things. But I think the dangerous thing about this deal has always been that we are transferring a major hub to, first we did it in case of Dubai. It was done by the previous civil aviation minister.
I'll come to that,
Civil aviation minister is giving another hub.
No, I'm coming to that, Casey.
Lasting damage.
I'm coming to that, Casey, but I really don't think I'll get Hardeep in on this. I liked his opinion also. But you know, please understand here, it is not the job of an ambassador to ensure.
I would like to give you my opinion.
I'll come to you. Get Jitendra Bhargava and Captain Gopinath in. You see, an ambassador has no business trying to ensure that a private company, even if the private company is related to the royal family of the country, should be getting a clean chit over questions raised by the Securities and Exchange Board of India. And if Shashi Tharoor thinks that that's the right thing, I think Shashi Tharoor should reread the book of diplomacy all over again. You have to maintain a certain distance, even while pushing your national interest. Jitendra Bhargava, are you surprised at this? Jitendra Bhargava.
You see, Mr. Casey Singh is spot on. The reality is that the Jet Etihad deal has right from April 24th and a few weeks earlier enjoyed government patronage. Government has facilitated decisions by various regulatory bodies by putting pressure, and pliable officers have given. CCI, which has resulted in the SEBI notice and this controversy which has come in, also bypassed a whole lot of groundwork that was needed to be done. I filed a petition with Compat challenging the decision of the CCI on Jet Etihad deal. Now let's look at it. Mr. Tharoor says it is the ambassador's job to take care of trade of the home country. Now the reality is this deal is suicidal for the Indian aviation industry, barring Jet. But every airline suffers, and it is not just Air India, as Mr. Gurudas Dasgupta said, the entire Indian aviation.
No, but I'm not even getting into whether it's good or bad, because the hand of Sanjay Jha goes up there because we move away from the argument. The question is, why is the Indian ambassador trying to issue a clarification that would have defended a foreign company which has been sent a notice by SEBI? Captain Gopinath, please. Captain Gopinath. After that, Sanjay, let's have a round from Captain Gopinath as well. Captain Gopinath.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, can I? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Let me just have a few minutes. I think Casey Singh, clarified it very well. You know, if you look at the history of Jet Airways, it is crony capitalism at its best or worst. You know, Jet Airways lobbied against FDI to ensure that Kingfisher collapses. They lobbied with every ministry to see that the FDI doesn't happen. And after Kingfisher collapsed, they lobbied for FDI.
But that's not the issue here. That's not the issue here. Let's restrict ourselves to the ambassador's note.
I'm coming to the issue. I'm saying that it's pointed to the same thing. And now Jet Airways is also lobbying against AirAsia coming in. So that means they want.
But I'm not interested in the. I'm not interested in the private competition. I can say Captain Gopinath. 1 minute. I can say Captain Gopinath that by making that argument, you are bringing your own corporate interests and your own corporate background, your own corporate rivalries in display. I'm not interested in that. Comment on the issue. Don't use Times Now as a punching bag.
I'm not in the airline business now.
No, you have been in the airline business. Don't use Times Now as a punching bag. Yeah, go ahead.
Not
1 minute.
No, not now. I'm saying the Tata Singapore Airlines. See, now they're against the Tata Singapore Airlines.
So again, this channel is. I'm not interested in your corporate rivalries. I am asking you, should the ambassador have been writing the note?
Jet Airways. Obviously not. That means they are able to, influence the government through the ambassador or through whosoever it is to get the things done the way they want it. The rules are not made for either Jet Airways or Air India. Rules should be made for the country. Yes. Rules should be made for ensuring that more people fly. That our hubs are maintained in the country.
Well, anyway,
we should only ask one question.
The question is
3% of India is traveling.
1 minute. One minute. Briefly. I see two hands go up. I need to go back to the political party.
The role of ambassador ought to be looked at in the total context. That at every stage, this deal has been patronized by government departments.
The ambassador does not act on his own.
Listen. Ambassador has naturally been asked, and as
asked by whom?
Mr. Singh said, perhaps it's been drafted by Etihad or Jet and given to
But that's a scam, isn't it?
No, it is. There's no denying. But if you look up the entire deal, there is scam at all stages.
No,
and
but
all government agencies have
Hardeep Puri's response
and not taken an objective decision,
Mahroof wants to come in.
national interests of Indian aviation.
Mahroof wants to come in before that. Hardeep Puri. Hardeep Puri first.
Can I come into this?
Yes.
Can I come in? Look, this is a very serious matter.